Good morning, guys. I hope that you slept well. It is Friday, which means that we are one step closer to you no longer being a kindergartner, and that rocks. Now, if you are in my class, then I am looking forward to seeing you in a little bit on our drive-through graduation. I hope that everyone can be there. Oh, I do hope so. Cross my fingers. I would love to see you in person, in your car, looking fabulous in your graduation attire. I am going to be there cheering you on, sending you air kisses and all that good stuff, just being thankful that you were a part of our kindergarten year. I think it's going to be amazing. Now, sweet peas, today we are going to just look at a different kind of book today. I love Leo Lionni. He is a fabulous author and illustrator, and he is definitely one of my favorites. And so this is called Fish is Fish. Now, this book is a little bit similar to one of the books that we read, The Mixed Up Chameleon by Eric Carle. So I want for you to listen very carefully to why the title is Fish is Fish. At the edge of the woods, there was a pond, and there were a minnow and a tadpole swam among the weeds. They were inseparable friends. That means that they were the best of friends. They just stuck like glue. Let me turn. There we go. My phone's dinging already this morning. One morning, the tadpole discovered that during the night he had grown 2 legs. "Look," he said triumphantly, "look, I am a frog." "Nonsense," said the minnow. "How could you be a frog if only last night you were a little fish, just like me?" Well, we learned in the life cycle of a frog that it starts out as a tadpole, but then it grows its back legs, its front legs, and then it turns into a froglet and then an adult frog. They argued and argued until finally the tadpole said, "Frogs are frogs and fish is fish, and that's that." In the weeks that followed, the tadpole grew tiny front legs and his tail got smaller and smaller. Oh, look at Minnow. Minnow is most certainly not very happy about this. And then one fine day, a real frog now, he climbed out of the water and onto the grassy bank. The minnow too had grown and had become a full-fledged fish. He often wondered where his 4-footed friend had gone. But days and weeks went by, and Frog did not return. Then one day, with a happy splash that shook the weeds, the frog jumped into the pond. "Where have you been?" asked Fish excitedly. I have been about the world, hopping here and there," said Frog, "and I have seen extraordinary things." "Like what?" asked the fish. "Birds," said the frog mysteriously. "Birds." And he told the fish about the birds who had wings and 2 legs and many, many colors. As the frog talked, his friend saw the birds fly through his mind like large feathered fish. "What else?" asked the fish impatiently. "Cows," said the frog. "Cows! They have 4 legs, horns, eat grass, and carry pink bags of milk." Are his thoughts really what the animals look like? But he's never seen one, so this is what he is imagining inside of his brain. And people, said the frog, men, women, children, and he talked and talked until it was dark in the pond. But the pictures in the fish's mind was full of lights and color and marvelous things, and he couldn't sleep. Ah, if he could only jump about like his friend and see the wonderful world. Because that is what the world looks like to fish. And so the days went by. The frog had gone, and the fish just lay there dreaming about birds in flight, grazing cows, and those strange animals, all dressed up that his friends called people. One day, he finally decided that come what may, he too must see them. And so, with a mighty whack of the tail, he jumped clear out of the water onto the bank. Dear ones, what do we know about fish? Yeah, fish have to live in the water. They have gills that separate the oxygen from the water in order for them to breathe. He would die. He landed in the dry, warm grass, and there he lay, gasping for air. That means he was going unable to breathe or to move. Help! He groaned feebly. Luckily, the frog, who had been hunting butterflies nearby, saw him and with all his strength pushed him back into the pond. See, even when we make silly choices, our friends are always there to help. Still stunned, the fish floated about for an instant. Then he breathed deeply, letting the cool, clean water run through his gills. Now he felt weightless again, and with an ever so slight motion of the tail, he could move to and fro, up and down as before. The sun rays reached down within the weeds and gently lifted patches of luminous color. This world was surely the most beautiful of all worlds. He smiled at his friend the frog, who sat watching him from a lily leaf. You were right, he said. Fish is fish. Now, sweet loves, this story has a moral to it, and that moral to me is, hey, it is perfectly fine to be exactly who you are supposed to be. So sometimes we can get caught up in trying to be something that we're not. I've done it. Guilty as charged. But, dear ones, you were made beautifully, and you are created to do amazing things, just like fish was created to do amazing things in his own little space, and frog was created to do amazing things in his own little space. So, dear ones, I want you to celebrate the fact that we are all different, because otherwise it would be a pretty boring world. So, if you liked the story, give it a thumbs up. That way kiddos around can hear the story too. And, dear ones, I hope that you have a marvelous Friday, and I will see you later. Bye, sweet peas.